would I just start with a smoky eye, and then if you want to change it to halo, that's just like one eyeshadow that you put.
Something else. Okay.
Okay.
So you can do like whatever you think.
So, I told you last time that you don't bring your eyeshadow down a lot, because you don't feel.
And I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, I do. But I realized, but I realized like, in your defense, your eyelid, like right, like I guess it's not really an eyelid, but your skin, like right below the eye, actually has like a little bit of a curve. So when you place eyeshadow, you feel as if you're placing it on a lot, but since it has a curve, it ends up being thinner than what you were seeing when you were doing your makeup.
So it's like, and then shrinking.
Yeah, I noticed that when I did your makeup last Sunday.
Are you bullying me?
No, I noticed that last Sunday when I was doing your makeup. I kept on applying eyeshadow, and then when you would look straight forward, I'd be like, huh.
I swear I just put product on there. Like, where did it go?
That's weird. It just seems a bit thinner than I thought it was gonna be. But I do think it's because, you have that little, like that slight, it's very slight, but it's a slight curve that's enough to make it, like, create, like, an illusion.
Why don't we go for smoky eye? Because I feel like most people would want to probably do their own smoky eye before they go onto a halo. Yeah. So if you do a smoky eye, it's more common.
Smoky eye is, like, basic.
Yeah.
It's, like...
basic that everyone can't do.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. Even I was like...
I find them hard.
I
feel like it's a commitment.
It is. It is. Yeah, you can't choose to be like, oh, crap.
Oh, I'll just take it off and do it again. It's like, we start again.
Yeah.
we get the makeup remover.
And it's the one thing, like, in makeup school, we were taught to be like, you need to do this in 5 minutes.
Smoky eye in 5 minutes.
Smoky eye in 5 minutes. And we're just like, okay! Black smoky eye in 5 minutes? Are you serious right now? Let's be basic. So, I'm actually going to start with, I was taught this in makeup school. I don't actually do this necessarily on myself. To do a base with the, if you struggle blending out your eyeshadow, this is a really good tip to start with a kohl base, like a pencil base, because you can blend it out very easily, smoke it out as much as you need to, and then on top of it, just build the intensity with the eyeshadow. So we're just going to go like really all out. We're just going to do like black.
Alright, go for it.
Okay. So, I'm going to keep this brush. The brush that I'll be using to blend is a rounded brush, like it's a dome, like a tiny dome brush.
Oh, Blurry, I'm so pleased.
Oh, thank
I hope
you.
your pictures turn out really well, by the way.
Oh yeah. What look were you?
I actually, I saw what look you were doing because it came up on the, I was trying to screenshot my own front page for ages. I couldn't get a good thumbnail, but you were saying that it was saying that you were also live, and I could see the looks. It looked really cool. It was like a black and white kind of like spirally thing going on. With like, it was really, really cool. So sorry, basically.
Creepy, but that's good.
Yeah.
Creepy is good, especially now. Like
Yeah.
we're getting into the period, like time of the year where people are just gonna really appreciate that type of look.
Sorry about me. I was trying to screenshot myself. I'm so sorry.
And every single time the
Sounds
screenshot would just.
The thumbnails weren't great, and I was.
At one point, I saw my face. I was like, okay, my face is okay, and then I just saw yours, and you just looked so pissed off.
I was like.
So pissed off.
I was like, okay.
And I was like, okay, well that one's not good either.
That's how I saw it. Sorry, it was all about me again.
So this is a black kohl liner, so I'm gonna just very lightly, careful with eyeliners also. When you place them on the eye, they do tend to tug a little bit, so don't press too much, because like eyeshadow you'll press with your brush, or you might be a bit too violent when you blend, but when it comes to pencils, I find a lot of people struggle to like find the right pressure, so that you don't feel as if like someone's like pushing your eyeball back into your skull, basically. Can you hear like how noisy my stomach has been like since the beginning of the stream?
Are you hungry? Are you digesting?
No, I don't know. It's just always making noise.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't hear anything. I was just panicking that you were hungry.
No.
Just me finishing all the food. I ate it.
Yeah, because so we had like sandwiches, and at one point like Mel just stopped, as in like she was leaving me too, and I was like, but if I eat those other two, that means I've eaten as much as you. Like I can't eat as much as you.
Abomination. Though you can pop it in the art share in Discord. We can't. At the moment, like links have had to be disabled because we're having some front page exposure at the moment, so we can't pop in links in the chat. It's more Twitch recommend that when you get front page, they tell you that you should be turning links off.
Oh, that's good that they recommend that.
Yeah, they give you a sheet of
Oh,
what
that's
to do.
good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
I was wondering, would it be possible? Oh, yes, absolutely paradise. But we're also going to go through and highlight into different sections, like for instance, smoky eye, and then like cut crease. And so we're going to go through and we're going to section up the VOD. But you're more than welcome to go to the videos section of on my channel, and you'll see the entire stream there. So I've played copyright-free music or a copyright-free music playlist. So I think it's all muted.
I always get really frustrated when I want to go back and watch a stream, and it's like.
Yeah.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, it's really, really frustrating, in my opinion.
Is this like your playlist?
No, I just found this one.
Oh, called Twitch and Chill. Wait.
Yeah, Twitch and Chill, and I found this one on. I just found it, and
okay.
Non-copyright. So I play non-copyright music.
Okay.
I try my hardest. Sometimes it still gets muted on some places, and I'm like.
I find that even in those playlists, sometimes there's a song that is
it's been copyrighted since, or something. Yeah. Or something's happened to it, and you're a bit
like... it's funny. I don't actually use that playlist. I use another one, but
I
that's
only
like
found it
very, very long. Oh, okay.
I wanted a chill one. Normally I don't go for chill.
Yeah, you go for like really hype.
Yeah, I'm like...
But I've noticed that for body paint streams, seeing how long they are, like you need hype music.
I need to stay excited.
And I'm like slowly building up a playlist that is like happy music, so that if I like feel like down at one point, I'll be like, okay guys, we're switching playlists, we're just gonna put like really, really hype.
I'm gonna put my favorite songs on.
Like the kinds of songs that like the non-copyright songs that make you kind of want to dance around and just like jump around and be like, I'm trying to create a playlist for like those moments where you're just gonna, okay, my energy is like, yeah. Because there's always that moment like in the stream where I feel like a dip in energy. Thank God I use a khol, otherwise like this would be dried down and I would not be able to blend it out at all. Yeah, careful when you use pencils, like use a pencil that's like a khol pencil so that you can actually blend it out even like a little while afterwards. Otherwise, like there are like pencils, especially like Makeup Forever pencils, they have like waterproof. They have like, they have really like, when I say waterproof, I mean like actually waterproof pencils. Like I've tested some of their products out by going in the shower with them and like being like, okay, is it gonna survive a shower? But of course I didn't put like soap on my face, but it'd be like water, like
water
just going down, and some of them are just like, yep, they're gonna stay on, they're just not gonna budge at all. Like when they say waterproof, they're not like joking, because they do makeup that are used for synchronized swimming.
Oh, okay.
So synchronized swimmers oftentimes use Makeup Forever because of that. Because they're like, their whole brand is sort of the waterproof,
like
professional
line. Waterproof.
Yeah. Was designed like for synchronized swimming originally.
That's so wild, isn't it? Like that you have to have, as a synchronized swimmer, you have to have specific makeup.
My God, their makeup is so wild, and I'm just like, you're in the water. That is so weird that your makeup has to be so wild for.
You popping up every so often.
An environment that isn't really suited for makeup, like originally.
And like, it's not as if you're doing an underwater shoot. It's like in and then out and then
up. We barely see your face.
Yeah, and then you're splashing about, so it's like aggressive.
Exactly. I was always really... My little sister actually used to do synchronized swimming.
Oh, really?
It was incredibly impressive to watch. Just the amount of, like, abs and muscles they need to have to do certain things, like especially when they're like upside down and suddenly like their legs just shoot out of the water and like, how are you, like, why aren't you why aren't you sinking like a normal person? Yeah, you get like really good abs and arms when you do that. Okay, so this is like the base coat. I'm just slowly building it up. I can tell that you don't like the pencil as much as you do the eyeshadow. Like
it's very... I've never done it this way before, so I'm kind of like... It's strange, but I think it's more like...
It's a bit more dry, I think. Maybe. That may be why it's bothering you a little bit. Because I do find it a bit more drying. Maybe that's because we put the Urban Decay like primer on your eyes, and it's just like, you wanted a base, I'm giving you a base, it's dry, okay? Little sister. No. Okay. B6. I have 2 little sisters, and they're both taller than me.
Oh.
And they like to remind me of that. That they're taller than me. Not by a lot, but they're still taller than me.
See, you're just small.
But my mom is small.
My
No, but
mom's
okay, yeah,
small.
but that doesn't. Okay, I'm small, but that doesn't take away from the fact that you are tall. So the 2 next to each other makes it like a huge height
There
difference.
is a big difference. My mum, I saw my mum this week, and I was walking next to her, and she was like holding on to my arm, and she went, "Am I taller than Elise?"
Oh.
Yes.
It's not that hard. Honestly, it's like, yeah. I used to tell like my sisters when they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm taller than you," I'd be like, "That's not a big achievement, okay? Stop being proud of that. That is very easy to do."
It's actually very easy.
My mom is the only person shorter than me. I'm the oldest, and oh,
At least
Yeah,
it's
at least
tall
you're
on the
just like-
inside.
at least it's taller than you. Yeah. Okay, so that's the top lid done. I'm gonna do the same as you. You notice that I forget to drink on stream.
Yeah.
It's like,
You're talking so much more than me as well.
but even like during my streams, I'm really grateful when my chat is like, "Elise, have you did you drink some water?" I'd be like, "No, thank you."
Oh god.
And at one point, I was about to be like, "Yeah, no, actually, no, I didn't." I was about to like defend myself, and then I realized, no, the last time you drank was like 2 hours ago.
It's really like scary how easy it is to forget, because you
It
don't even
is.
realize how dehydrated you are, and you're like, "Why do I have a headache?"
Yeah,
There is no reason why I should have a headache right now.
exactly.
I drank water like 6 hours ago.
6 hours
and
ago.
I've been talking non-stop, so I don't see why.
LNZ, how? LNZ, just
They,
how? That shouldn't be legal, LNZ.
That's
To
the
be-
law.
To organize my top shelves. Yeah, he would actually be really good for that. Okay, can you look up? So. I'm gonna use another brush to fade that out.
Hi, Miss Muse, how you doing, my lovely?
I was panicked, like, cleaning my brushes last night, and like, oh god, I need to have those things for tomorrow, they need to dry. I mean, I didn't finish the stream very late, but like, still. I finished before midnight, okay.
I know, I was very impressed. I was looking at lurking.
But then did you see, like, what I managed in, like, 5 hours of stream? Like, it's, like, the most simple look ever. I'd be like, no wonder my body weight streams last 17 hours. Like, I just did, like, a simple look, like, literally my face was, like, foundation and just, like, a wash of eyeshadow, like the eyeshadow that I did on you last Sunday, just on one eye. And there was, like, just paint here, and I was like, that took me 5 hours? Like, what? How?
I'm finally here, so happy. Oh, I'm pleased. But so Elise is demonstrating a smoky eye with a pencil today.
With a pencil, as a base.
Mm.
It's always, like, easier. So can you look up? I'm just gonna bring it down further than you would normally. So I just put the pencil and then I blend it out. Since I'm using a kohl pencil, like, you can almost blend it out like in an infinite amount if you want, because it never really dries down. So if you noticed, when I did the top part of the eye, I didn't actually go all the way till the end, because I wanted to have the lower lash line to give the direction of the smoky eye. So now that I've created that line that goes up, then I can actually start filling it inwards on the top of the eye. I'm just gonna keep going. You can go look up. There we go, and then if you close your eyes, then I can fill in what was missing here. The one thing that is quite frustrating with smoky eyes is, like, for example, for me, my eye shape isn't the same on both sides. So this outer edge, the V, will look better on one side than it does on the other. Just naturally, because, well, the eye shape is a bit different and it just doesn't, it just works that way, so. Like when you do makeup on your eyes that are like very different shapes, you do have to choose, you have to like sort of make the choice of being like, okay, do I want it to be exactly the same shape on both eyes, even though it might not be adapted to each one? Or do I want it to be a different shape but be adapted to each eye? So if you look like straight forward to the camera, so as you can see, like I need to lower this much. Lower this. I went too far up here.
BFI, thank you so much for gifting!
Aww.
Thank you so much, Miss News. No, you are now a sub. Don't forget to join the Discord. You get access to some bonus stuff. Thank you so much, BFI. That's so kind of you.
No one's face is the same on both sides. Yeah, that's true. I think like one side is usually like happier than the other.
It's very interesting how the colours and shades apply to the eye lend a sense of geometry change of the physical eye itself, almost like looking at two separate people. It's weird, isn't it? It's weird.
Yeah, it's like very
What
transformative.
can I use to like cover up part of my face?
Oh, I want to use the palette. Oops. Well, actually,
Hang on, I'll just use a sponge insert. Okay, yeah, so the reason why I'm just covering things up with my with my hand is because like this is obviously we're demonstrating different looks today, so this is one look and then this is another, and it's
like a totally
it's
different.
a complete it is almost like two different people, and but so much is changed with them.
Yeah. And that's what I said about like if you have really wide round eyes like me, a smoky eye like that is really really good, because as you can see even on Mel, it really just sort of shrinks her eyes a little bit, makes them a bit smaller, and that's like what I tend to do on myself like when I go out, because I know that it will make my eyes not look like as wide.
Whereas this one's so much more. It's like it seems so much more brighter, and everything's been lifted up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But here, as you can see, it's like the height has changed with the eye, right? Like against the whole face, it looks like it's almost like lower. Whereas, as you said here, like this, everything
It
lifts
really
it up.
lifts. Yeah.
Everything's going up because of that direction. So it's really interesting to see how just a different eyeshadow look can change the whole face.
I do need to correct that side though. I went like, so that's the struggle that you can have with Asian eyes, is that you tend to bring the eyeshadow a little bit too far up. Because you can't tell where the crease is, therefore you tend to bring it up. So like for example, I did bring it up a bit too much, just like here, like right below the finger. That's where I brought it up. If, like usually on smoky eyes, you want to elongate it. Like, it's really funny. Every single time you switch, it's like a...
I feel like I forget what the other side is like. But it's super interesting.
So since I went perfect way to demonstrate like how you correct something. So I have a conceal brush that I use to cut the crease on the other side. It's a bit dried down now, but there's just like enough pigment on it so that I can correct this without adding too much product. Because otherwise you just like keep adding and keep adding and keep adding. At one point it's just going to start creasing, and it's just really annoying to handle at that point. So I'm just gonna go over that. If a perfect example of like, for example, this would be where Lisa Eldridge would take a cotton bud, and she would. So no, just look forward, and she would just do this a bit.
It is, TJ.
And
it is.
You can see that it picks up.
Mm-hmm.
So it does blend it out. It's just not a tool that we're used to using. It's like a tool that I recommend to use, like when you have nothing else. You can still do eyeshadow.
You You don't need all the expensive things.
Yeah, you don't. So that's the thing that we were talking about earlier, is how people tend to be like, nowadays, since there are so many products out there, people tend to be like, okay, well, I don't have this product, so I can't do this look unless I have that. Whereas before, it'd be like, okay, gloss, clear lip gloss. You can use that on the lips. You can use that on the eyes. You can use that even if you want, like, just a tad bit as a highlight. Just very, very slightly. You can use it to make a lipstick look satin. Just, it can go from matte to satin to glossy, just depending on the amount of gloss that you use. That's what I tend to do. Like, with matte lipsticks don't suit me all that much, so when I want to go, like, satin, but I still really like that lipstick, I'll just put a tiny bit of lip gloss on my hand and just, like, take the tiniest amount and just tap it on. And it will look like, it won't look glossy, it'll just look satin. Lipstick, the amount of times that I've used lipstick as a blush, because I didn't have the color I wanted, but I was like, that lipstick is the color I want. Lipstick as a blush, perfect. Or lipstick as an eyeshadow even, like the liquid lipsticks,
Yeah,
people
I use
that
the
a
liquid
lot.
lipstick as a heavily pigmented eyeshadow
Yeah.
quite a lot. And I wish you're just so talented, Elise. You're amazing.
Aw.
Very proud of you.
Thank
It
you
is
so
TJ. We were just saying how so we've done 2 different looks, and how this one it's more uplifting and it's brighter, but this one gives a whole different sense around the whole face. And the eyeshadow, because it's it's obviously it's very, very important, but you can see how important it is when it changes up a face so dramatically based on the shape that you use, the colours that you use, and where you place it. For instance, this one doesn't have anything on the lower lash line and everything's lifted up, and then this one has something placed on the lower lash line and it feels like it's just a little bit lower. You're learning loads today. I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. That means we did something right.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. As long as, like, even one person has learned something, that I feel like we're like, okay, great, good. That's what that's what we were hoping for. You look up. So I'm just gonna just bring it out a little bit to do like a triangle shape. If you look straight at me. See? It's just like,
I'm so nervous that you're like starving.
no, it's fine, it's fine. The whole chat was yelling at me yesterday, being like, "Go eat!" I was like, I'm fine. I'm fine, okay. You look up. Okay. So I'm just going to set that in place with eyeshadow. So, black eyeshadow. The best way to pick up black eyeshadow for it to be very, very pigmented.
I was about to say,
Go eat!
the eye makeup difference sometimes gives the illusions that you're looking 2 different ways, and it keeps messing with your hair. It's weird,
Oh,
isn't it?
yeah. It is, yeah. So the best way to pick up a black eyeshadow is with a flat round brush. For some reason, this isn't popular anymore. Everyone works with this type of brush now when they're like putting like eyeshadow like really pigmented. You see it in those like Instagram videos. They're like packing it on, but with a brush like this.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen that?
No.
And I'm just like, I'm very impressed by it, because I'm like, that's a blending brush. How do you manage to like pack it on so well? Oh my god. Like, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I followed a masterclass. I know what I'm talking about, okay?
Oh, Ramboozled, I'm so pleased. I'm really, really pleased. That makes me really happy. She says, I have really been into watching much long periods of streams lately,
Oh,
but I've been watching all of this today, and she's been learning and enjoying so much.
well, thank you so much.
I'm really pleased, because I feel like it's a really important thing. Like, obviously, I like to use my channel to make you guys like laugh and like show you guys what you can do with like makeup and stuff. But I really wanted to, especially like give you a chance to show
Yeah.
from a professional standpoint why professional makeup is really important, and different techniques and stuff. Also, because not just be like, you're all doing it wrong, not in that sense, but more of a, this is how you can achieve quite a lot by doing a little, and maybe this is what you were probably doing wrong, and maybe this is what you might
it's
be
just like
finding difficult.
another way of doing it. Being
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, try this out. If you prefer it, then it's just like...
I think the eyeliner really helped a lot of people.
Yeah, the eyeliner one. Yeah, but the thing is, like, when I learned about that, I was just like, whoa. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So the best way to pick up black eyeshadow is with a flat shade, what we call a flat shader brush. It's very thin and it's rounded. And the way to do it is you will press the brush into the eyeshadow and move it forward, okay? Not backwards. People tend to move it backwards, be like picking up like that. The best way to pick up, like if you really want a lot of pigment, is you place it and you move it forwards, and then you get like the maximum amount of shadow you want on that brush.
Sure.
It actually, what it does, it lifts up like the little specks of pigment.
Like it's like almost like a tiny scoop.
Yeah, it's like scooping it up, and then if you want, like you can just press it in to the brush.
Damn, I did not know that.
I learned that in makeup school as well. In the beginning, I was like, "What? No, that's not the way you pick up eyeshadow." I was like, "I'm not gonna listen to the teachers. I've never picked up eyeshadow that way." And then at one point, I was like, "Okay, it actually works kind of good." But this only works well for eyeshadows that are very dry. They're very packed. As you can see, like on that, when I moved it forwards, there weren't that many, like there wasn't like a whole amount of like dust. For example, like Anastasia Beverly Hills, from what I've seen, like if you like switch it around, there's like a lot of fallout just everywhere. This wouldn't be the good technique for that. In that case, I would just like do like very, very tiny back and forth in the eyeshadow pan to pick up as much as I can without like just destroying the eyeshadow as I
thank you so much, Paradise. Have a wonderful day. Miss Vivi says I haven't caught any streams lately, but she's so glad she did today. Trent wants a pepperoni pizza. I've been doing a lot of things wrong this whole time.
Oh, Boo, thank you so much. That is really kind. I guess I'm just gonna do master classes now from now.
I feel like
all the streams. You
just want to take the overlay.
Okay. And then when you really want pigment, so you'll take that brush and you'll like don't swipe it, just pat it, press it. If you swipe it when you have a lot of pigment on the brush, it will just result in like a lot of fallout on your cheeks, which is usually why like when you do a smoky eye, you tend to do the eye first and then the foundation. The thing is, like, in a professional setting, when you're doing that on runway, you don't really have a choice. Like, the foundation is done. Just do the smoky eye, and that's it.
I feel so attacked right now.
I feel like the first... Yeah, there's a lot of pigment on your brush. I don't have any palettes from her, but I've seen, like, people use it, and I've just...
I bought, the Modern Renaissance
That's
palette.
the one I was hesitating on getting. It seemed like a very, like, basic palette, like a nice one.
Yeah, it was nice, and I liked it. I say it in the past tense because I depotted all my eyeshadows, and I don't know which one is which now, so I haven't got a clue. But I remember being so... Okay, for me, going into... okay, I don't have a brush example. For me, going into the eyeshadow palette from going into other eyeshadow palettes, you saw how pressed that one was.
Yeah, that one, Makeup Forever eyeshadows are, like, really dry.
They're very, very compact, whereas I went straight into Anastasia, thinking it was the same, didn't know any better, went straight in, like, was like, yep. And when I touched my eye, because this was a few years ago as well, it was like 3 years ago, I was like, I don't know how to blend that out.
That's the thing. Okay, so... It's like basically I feel like ABH eyeshadows are like pressed pigments. They're just at the limit of being pressed pigments, like almost pure pigments, because that's how pigmented they are. And the technique you need to use for that, like it's much more complicated to learn how to use, and it's a very different technique from eyeshadows. This is like, again, an unpopular opinion for me, but I don't like when eyeshadows are like overly pigmented. Because I rather work... I like when they're buildable, but not when you, like, go in with, like, a tiny amount and you're like, oh, well, how do I blend that now? Like, great. Put too much on. Like, how do I do that? And it's... So it's, like... And I feel like now the thing is, it's the trend of being like, oh, it's not pigmented enough, therefore it's shit. Whereas, like, it's like, no, if you can build it up, then that's perfectly fine. But... So, like, every brand is coming out with these extremely, extremely pigmented eyeshadows that don't necessarily blend out really well because they're, like, so pigmented that, like, they'll skip and they'll just, like...
But people are after the swatches and stuff, aren't they? They're after the swatch, which is done with a finger.
Which doesn't mean anything at all.
Which is very different if you swatch something with a finger, whereas when you pick something up with a brush, there's a very big difference between them. But what people want is to be able to grab an eyeshadow
like that.
And do this, but, like... You're putting so much, like, you don't do that on your eye.
Yeah.
You tell one person who does that on their eye.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys.
Best eyeshadow.
Welcome to my channel. Like, there's just not something that you necessarily do. So I do agree. I was very surprised when I went into, because I didn't know the consistency. I just thought, everyone says it's good, I'll buy it. And I was very surprised. it put me off using it because it was so heavily pigmented that I didn't know how to use it, and I was scared because I would like tap it with like the edge of a brush.
That's how you would need to use it if you want to like really build it up. It's just like the tiniest tap.
It was just so frightening, especially because the first time I went in and I did it that heavily, I did it with a burgundy red.
Oh my god.
Not only did it stain, I also had to recreate that on the other eye. And when you've done it on one eye and it's been an accident, and then you have to do it on the other eye, and it's not an accident, it's very hard.
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
I do think, now that you've mentioned, it's a pressed pigment, and I didn't know there would be a difference.
Especially the red, so the red colors in most palettes that are like that are considered not FDA approved because they're pressed pigments. And
I didn't know there was a difference between an eyeshadow and a pressed pigment.
Yeah, pressed pigments are just like extremely pigmented, and they're very like, yeah, they can be very, very powdery. As soon as like you pick them up, you're just like destroying the like what they've done to press it into there, and it suddenly becomes like a loose pigment again.
Yeah, and it's all over the mirror, it's all over everything, it's all over the rest of the colours, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I used it and it ruined the whole palette, so...
Yeah, so that's something that, like, I feel people...
Using the same as I did with eyeshadow. Yeah, honestly, rainbows have the same problem. So easy to get into that issue. I have had my fair amount of fights with eyeshadows and makeup and been like, I don't know how to use this. Yeah. I genuinely don't know. I've gone in and it's been wrong. But a lot of the time when I'm testing out a makeup product or like a new eyeshadow palette, I'm so excited. I'm not going to like test it out like immediately on the stream if I just wanted to buy something. Sometimes I'll just play with it and I'm like, oh,
okay. We'll just work with that now.
This is how I'm going to go to work today. So just, oh, hi everyone. Full beat today. I'm going to the gym later actually. So it's very, very, it's yeah.
Yeah, and now the thing is, I'm happy though that it's starting to get like well known a bit. Like people are talking about it a bit more. How like swatches and makeup on eyes aren't the same thing. I've noticed that Jeffree Star has mentioned it a few times. Raw Beauty Christie as well, who's like another big YouTuber, and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do the swatches, but it doesn't really mean anything anyway. Just like remember that it's not good. Like
I've seen mention it. Yeah.
Like just because I swatch it on my arm, it doesn't mean that it'll be a bad. And if it swatches badly, then it's okay. Like. It doesn't mean anything with how it's going to apply on my eyes, which is very true.
But also what I also find is when people swatch a eyeshadow, sometimes in some cases they pick up the top layer and they swatch it and it looks good. And I think this is kind of the same with shimmers and glitters.
Oh yeah.
And that shimmer and glitter is only present on the surface of that eyeshadow. Because it's almost been like sprayed on, hasn't it?
I think it is sprayed on. Yeah.
So it's not part of the whole eyeshadow pigment. It's been sprayed on the top because cheap. And you see someone pick up that swatch because that's the first time they've swatched it, and it goes straight on, and it looks amazing because they've picked up the whole surface and it goes on, but the rest of it doesn't exist, and you've been copped out. Like it's very it's frustrating. That's more with cheaper palettes though. It reminds me of the differences as well, and it reminds you that everything is just practice and nobody's born a pro.
Oh my god, yes. 100%.
It's just educating and practicing and being like, okay, so I'm not going to do that again. Yeah. It's kind of it's more of that, and having I think a bit more of a having a bit more of an open mind and understanding to some of it, being like, okay, so I can't use that in that way, and then when you understand a little bit, because I feel like as an example, Jeffree Star has, I don't know how many million of viewers or subscribers.
Yeah.
So let's say he has 6 million viewers on one video where he does a swatch. Chances are 5 million of those may not know that a swatch isn't that important. So it's more that people don't realise. Yeah. It's just an idea of what the colour kind of looks like on the skin. But I think that's more like what this kind of looks like on this skin tone, really. Yeah. But that's not saying like he's a bad person for it. It's just that some things aren't widely known. So I think that's why it's quite important that a lot of people are bringing more attention to it, being like, I'll swatch it, but so you can see it, because I know that's what you want to see. But
the important part is like the tutorial. Well, I'll actually be using it in the brush and putting it on my eye. So yeah. So Basically, my brush is loaded up with black eyeshadow, and to really press that pigment in, make it really, really intense, let me just, because since I used a kohl pencil, it's like already starting to crease, so I'm gonna just quickly blend it out a little bit to remove like the creasing, and then press this, like really just like press it in, maybe move it a tiny bit, but as it's like still on the eyelid, and then just keep going like that instead of swiping it on, or worse, like blending it on directly. Oh, going in.
Christ, I'm not really sure if that was a troll or not. But it's really important that you understand that you can't put this kind of pressure on streamers. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counsellor, I don't know anything about this, but if you are looking for any kind of help, please look at the international suicide hotlines just listed there with a command. If it is a troll, please understand that's really not funny, and it's really not acceptable. But at the same time, if you really do need help, please contact those suicide hotlines.
Okay, so I'm just gonna blend out that crease, which is totally normal since I used a kohl eyeliner pencil, which just moves around a lot. It doesn't like dry down ever. And then just press it into the eyelid.
Hey Pete.
I realize that now. I used to have a brush that was like this but smaller, and I think someone stole it from me
Oh, no.
in makeup school, and I so wish I had it now because your eyelids are much smaller than mine, and therefore it would be like a perfect fit for your eyelids. And I'm just like thinking about this brush as I'm applying the eyeshadow, like, I wish you were here.
I miss you.
The thing is, it got discontinued too, so I can never get that brush.
Oh,
ever
that's such a
again.
pain.
Like I bought like the last few ones.
The softest pressing ever. Yeah, it's really, really soft and
Yeah.
it's very gentle.
Oh crap, let's see, I didn't do this properly. It's a bit of fallout. So when you try to brush away fallout, it's very difficult because you don't want the pressure to be too big on the skin.
Mm-hmm.
And I pressed too hard on the skin, and therefore instead of removing the fallout, I just swiped it. Which is why, like, when you have to do like a smoky eye in like a very limited amount of time, people tend to not do it with eyeshadow. They tend to do it with like cream eyeshadow. Like Makeup Forever has like something called Aqua Black. It's extremely hard to do a smoky eye with. It's extremely black, waterproof, dries down really fast. But like when you know how to do a smoky eye with that, you're just like, there's some girls out there who could like do it in 5 minutes, and then it'd be like perfect, and I'd just be like, okay.
What?
Just be like very depressing to look at that, but
I might. The gold is lovely, isn't it? Oh, so you know what, Nightwish? I learnt actually about something called visual ASMR.
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Visual ASMR, yeah. It doesn't work too much on me, but I've seen like it.
Yeah, people just find some things really relaxing to watch, and they're just quite like
painting. Like,
yeah.
Oh,
like Bob Ross,
yeah.
for instance, and like he classes like visual ASMR. People like watching things like factory videos because they like watching things go across
Yeah.
the line. And apparently it's like classed as like visual ASMR because people like watching it. It's very calming, it's relaxing, and you learn something but it's a very like soft kind of
Okay, so now I'm taking a blending brush. I took the lightest bit amount of black on it. I'm removing the excess on my hand, and then just blending the edges out.
Oh, Nightwish is working on him because he feels really relaxed and chilled out right now.
Oh. It's great though. I always find like when you're having makeup done on yourself, it almost feels like kind
It's
of
very
ASMR.
relaxing, yeah. Well, if you have it done with the right people. I've had it done by people before where I want to run out the chair because they're like stabbing my eye and I'm scared I'm gonna lose it.
It's not like, when it gets to that point, it means like, you've kind of failed as a makeup artist because for that session because it's like, oh,
I
a
didn't
person
feel
is supposed to.
comfortable and
Okay, I'm gonna take that brush again, wipe off the excess on the tissue paper that I'm using to protect the workstation. No, you can leave your eyes closed. And I'm just blending out the black, trying to move the pigment a little bit. You can also use a dome brush for this. I know the teachers in my makeup school, they really liked using the dome brush for blending out really dark colors. I didn't like it so much because I felt that it would skip a little bit. And that's because I wouldn't handle like the brush pressure really well. As soon as you push too much on it, it just like skips and you realize that you can't blend properly. But
skipping is one of my real problems. I find I'm not very good at controlling that.
Well, it happens to, I mean, it happens to me still, like, to see there's like a lot of font here.
I tend to watch a lot of ASMR and suffer with chronic pain and it helps. So for what it's worth, thank you so much for relaxing and educating stream. Thank you both.
Oh, thank you
that
so
makes me
much.
so happy. Oh, that makes me really happy.
Yeah.
We did some good things today.
Yeah.
We did it right.
I feel like hopefully it might give ideas for other people to be like, oh, okay, I know about this. I'd like to do a masterclass on this. Like, I hope that, I really would like that if it became more popular to be like, hey, I'm just gonna share what I know about this thing. And
it'd be so nice to have like a collection of like different lessons from different people.
Because I do think that like people on here have different strengths.
Mm.
Because there's like a lot of talented people on Twitch, and
I would love to see. I open or closed.
No, it's looking up.
Sorry, up or down. I would really love to understand how Kay figures out colour.
Oh yeah.
Because I think that's really, really impressive how she sees colour in places where I feel like I don't necessarily see colour, but she's pulled out a colour and it's worked really, really well. Like, I think her colour is very, very well structured. But it seems more like it seems a little random sometimes, but it works.
She can
so
like
well.
see it. Like it seems random to us. Like, I feel like before she starts putting the black, when we look at it, we're just like, you look like some sort of weird mix of candies all over the place.
Why do you look like purple there? But then as soon as when it's finished, you're like, oh, it makes so much sense. I don't understand how you figured
and she
out.
has like that vision. That means she can actually tell, like, oh, this is gonna make sense as soon as I add the black. But I do think so. That's the thing. Makeup school I found was very useful. I am nowhere close to like her level. Was learning to see color and like ever so like slight variations of color. Like, okay, I don't even know if it really shows on screen, but like, yeah, you can actually tell on this, like, these two colors. This one is a bit warmer, has a bit more orange, whereas this one is a bit more neutral. And so having an eye for that when you look at, especially when you're going to do a body paint, which she does, like, based on a character, is, I think, very useful. But she takes it to the next level, where she's not like doing something like me where I just copy a reference picture and I'm just like, okay, yeah, the color's like that. She's like, I'm creating something new. I know this makes sense. She's got a good eye for it. Didn't she like study art for a little while or something like that?
I don't know.
But yeah, she has an extremely good eye for that kind of stuff. She is definitely the kind of artist where you're just like, I want to pick your brains. Like, please just like...
Why did you put the purple there and make it work so well?
Oh yes, Nimble's use of color is also very interesting. I find it very unique, the way he places color for his body paints. Like, his style, like, the way his body paints look at the end is completely different from everyone else on Twitch. Like, radically different from everyone else. It's like, it has like a very painted effect, kind of like Kay, I find, but the use of color is not the same. He is very talented. He is.
I think it's what I really like about everything is that people seem to put all body painters in the same bracket and like to easily compare. It's just different art styles for how, like, we could all create the same character, but we'll all do it a little bit differently. It's just different art styles.
fundraiser showed, like the paint backer
Yeah,
blue.
that's why I like doing it, because it's mostly done by makeup and body painters, right? But it's not exclusive to makeup and body painters. And when we do that, you get to see how many ways there are to paint Batgirl blue, because I've given everyone the same brief, but everybody does it so slightly differently, and I think that's one of the great things about it, is that it just reinforces the fact that we're not. It's just because we're using the same canvas doesn't mean that we're all comparable in our art style.
It's like saying all like acrylic artists are the same. It's not.
All digital artists do the same thing, and it's very different.
I'm just adding the black eyeshadow now to make it just a bit deeper and blending it out. I'm going to use a technique where I do use like a little bit of pink to blend out the black into the skin tone, because that tends, when you try to blend black to the skin tone, it can be really difficult. It can actually look like a bit like grayish almost.
Oh, I have that problem too.
Yeah, and that's why I use the pink just to warm it up a little bit to avoid that. Can you close your eyes?
Thank you, V6. Yeah, that's one of my favourite things about it, is just seeing everybody's different style. Also, like, some people take the actual brief a little bit differently. My favourite one was last year when I did Paint Deadpool Pink. I had like different versions of Deadpool, like in the shower, and like people were being really silly with it because obviously it suits the character well.
Yeah.
So that one I feel like was a little bit more expressive. But even still, like, you get to see how people will take the actual...
Oh, like, Chris. She had, like, a really interesting way of analyzing your theme this year. Of, like, being painted. I thought that was so creative, too.
I think she just didn't want to paint anymore.
Chris is gonna be like, what?
I think she gave up.
No, but the picture ended up, like, being
It was really cool, yeah. Because, like, sometimes it's nice when you've done a body painting and you can break the illusion in, like, a video or something, because people are like, what?
Oh, that was body painting I was looking at?
Yes! They're painted on!
I think that's what I had on TikTok. Like, a lot of people were like, wait, I didn't realize until I read the comments that, wait, what? This is painted on? Like,
what do you mean it's body paint? Are you naked?
Are you naked? That is, like, the number one question I think I have there.
Yeah,
I think I have it more on there than I do on Twitch.
Yeah.
Because people on Twitch don't even ask. They're like, you're naked.
I've decided. I'm decided you're not wearing any clothes. You did? Okay, fine. I'm pretty sure I spent a long time building this latest bra this morning, but if you say so.
Okay, and then I'm going to go in with a dusty pink. So just to create that transition. It just warms it up. You can use a brown as well. I don't know. I just find that pink is very just... I don't know. The effect that it gives is very satisfying. It doesn't seem as obvious as brown, but it's still a good way to do a transition. And I use this with like every color. If you look up. And if you close your eyes. And then I think I'm just going to use a Q-tip just to blend out the edges and be sure that everything... Look at me. Just going to take that Q-tip that I used earlier and just to be sure to blend out just the outer edges, making sure that that is skin tone because we don't want too much pigment on that. I'm starting to actually really enjoy like using Q-tips.
I had never even thought to use them as a blending tool, to be honest, until today. I never even considered it.
I didn't consider it until I saw Lisa Eldridge take a Q-tip and I was like, Wait.
What are you doing?
What is that? Where does that come from?
What are you gonna do with that? Tell me.
Like, if people, okay, see, I feel like I keep on talking about her, but she's like one of the rare, like, really professional makeup artists, like the ones that are up there that do fairly regular, like, YouTube videos that are extremely educational. And that's like, before makeup school, that's the person I would go to learn, like, professional techniques. And I feel that helped out quite a lot to be like, yeah, okay, this is how she does it. And she does this, I mean, like, I think she's the main makeup artist for Keira Knightley and for the girl who played in Titanic. You didn't watch Titanic?
I don't like Titanic.
Okay, me neither, but I thought... Who's the girl who played in Titanic? The actress. Like, the really famous actress, is she? The one who played the main character. You know, like, yesterday in my stream I said that I hadn't watched Titanic in full, like, I had just watched the end, and then I had watched the beginning, so I had watched it backwards, and people just got really offended about it.
Kate Winslet.
Oh, yeah. I think she's the main makeup artist for her as well, and she does, like, all the red carpets and, like, interviews and stuff like that.
I wouldn't really know. I don't really enjoy Titanic because... Okay, I don't really like watching any kind of film that makes me feel sad.
Oh, yes.
Because I just feel like that's... I can listen to a sad song and get over it in like 3.5 minutes, or I could watch a film and elongate that sadness until 2.5 hours. And I would much rather be sad for 3.5 minutes than 2.5 hours.
The girl who played, as in the boat. The girl who played the boat.
She did really well. She swam for a long time.
Abu! Oh my god, we're gonna create the anti-Titanic.
I just feel like it's such a... I just don't really... I mean, like, obviously it's just me. I just don't want to be unhappy for that amount of time.
What a talented person. Like the girl who played Titanic at the boat.
She's really good.
You know, okay, so when I moved to the US, I was 7. And I remember this because my parents got really mad about it. We were living in a hotel room. One for my parents and one, like, for all 3 of my sisters. I think we were sleeping in the same bed. And, waiting to be able to move into our house, basically. And we just been like, okay, well, fine, then we'll just watch TV. And we never watched Titanic because I was 7, so my parents were like, oh, that's not, like,
it's not really appropriate.
Yeah. Turn on TV, and it's Titanic, but it's like the scene where everyone is dying. And I just remember, like, we turn it on, like, 1 second later, you have, like, this dude that, like, falls and, like, hits one of the, like, railings and just, like, flips into the water, like, hits it as if it's a rag doll, and we were just, like, looking at the TV, like, in shock. Just what? You know, like,
the dad were right.
Like, you know, like, those times where you just watch something and you just can't look away because you're just like, what is happening?
You're like...
Yeah.
Right.
And so we were just like, my sister was, like, 2. My sister was 2, and we were just, like, watching that in shock, being like, what's happening? Why is everyone dying? And my mom heard that because she was watching the same thing in the other room. She heard that noise and she came in and we just got, like, yelled at so much, being like, you can't watch this, and she tried to turn off the TV and we were just like, but you're watching it. We can hear you watching in the other room. Oh. You cry like a tot. Oh, Putex, that's actually pretty smart.
But, oh, okay. Yeah, but I feel like I think about things too much. Like, I think about what happened in the film, and then I'll feel sad almost seemingly forever. Because I'll constantly think about it.
Okay, can you look up? I'm gonna put this in the water line. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
A tip for makeup artists. I tend to do the waterline in multiple strokes because people, especially those who aren't used to makeup, they'll be like, why are you putting something in, because it's technically, like, in your eye, and they get really uncomfortable about it. So I'll just, like, I'll try to do it very quickly, stop, let them blink, because if they can't blink, they'll start to cry, and then it ruins all the work that you've done, and it's just like, oh god, please no.
Like,
so
give them a moment to be like, okay.
Yeah, and then, like, keep going. So that's what I tend to do. Other people are just be like, yeah, just do it in one stroke. Just get it over with.
But is it nerve-wracking for you as an artist to do the waterline?
It is because I don't like making the other person feel uncomfortable, and I know how annoying that part is. I personally that's the part on me that if the person is gentle, I don't mind at all. But I've seen other people and they get really uncomfortable with it, so it's nerve-wracking for me because I'm just like, the other person is going to stress out because I'm gonna come in
it's very
really
invasive,
close,
isn't it?
Yeah. And I don't like making them stressed out, so then I start stressing out, being like, oh god.
Then everyone is just really stressed, and then the eye is watering, and it's just too much. I love how parents spend 2 years teaching their children to walk and talk, then they spend the rest of their lives telling them to sit down and shut up. That's so great, and I wish I never thought about that. Oh, you also start feeling sad? Yeah, that's how I feel.
So the way I pick up mascara is I take the brush out, and I roll this. Oh, how do I show this properly? Okay, I roll it on the mascara wand, just so that I pick up just enough product without picking up too much. Oh, I thought you had closed down Streamlabs, and I was like, okay, great, Mel.
And it's done.
Stream done.
Moira, that's really sad to hear. Is it more that the mascara and eyeliner just bothers you a bit more now? Do you think you're a bit more aware of it?
Oh, but that's actually a good point. That is a good point, yeah. No, but I have nothing against vegan makeup, but it's like, you just need to keep in mind being like,
it's not fully tested.
it's new. Like, it's new to the market, so we don't know yet. So that's how I do it. I roll it, and then to apply makeup on someone else, so I ask them to look down, so like looking at your knees, and then with my finger, I will place my finger in their crease, and that will actually lift their eyelid up a little bit. And since they're looking down, they won't actually see the brush all that much. And lift that up. I try to, like, I've had people put mascara on me, and I was just like, I'm going to die, because they just kept on like putting the brush on my lashes, and I'd be like, I can't blink, like, please let me blink. So it's good to like just do a few strokes, stop, let them blink a little bit, and then just keep going. I also do the top of the eyelashes, but that's only usually when I'm doing someone else's makeup, because I don't know how to do it on myself. That's literally the only reason I don't do it on myself, is I just don't know how. I'm just like, okay, well, fine. Yeah, if you keep working down, and then I'm just gonna do the other corner. So we didn't actually do something that usually people with, you actually have very good eyelashes, like for, like, people with Asian eyelashes, they tend to be very short, whereas yours are very long, but they're very, they're quite straight, which is quite usual. Like, the curve, they're not very curved, like mine are a bit curved, like my sister's just like, basically touch her eyelid. Yeah, yeah, and they're really long too, and they're like, some people used to think that she used to wear false eyelashes when she was in middle school.
Oh, really?
And she'd get teased for that, and I'd be like, that's so sad, because now in middle school people will be like, you wear false eyelashes? That's so cool. Like, they'd be like so jealous of it, but she'd get teased of it. Like,
it's weird. It's weird how like trends change, and it's like, I'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be cool. And for the bottom, lashes, basically I just ask that the person to just look up. So, and again, just I didn't actually bring the tool that I use for lashes, so I have a tool that I have that actually separates the lashes. It looks really, really scary because it's metallic. So I have like a little tiny smudge in the bottom lashes, so if you look up, okay. If you smudge your mascara like a lot, like if you just do like end up slipping, that happens to me a lot, is like I'll put it especially like on the top lashes, and I'll be like doing this, and then it'll just like slip. Don't remove it just yet. Wait for it to dry. You need to wait for the mascara to dry down completely, and then all you need to do is just take a Q-tip, and then on the area that has like smudged, you just roll the Q-tip just like that, and it will remove the mascara. Don't swipe it, just roll it in place, and it will remove the mascara from your skin. And it needs to be dried down because, like, if it's still wet, then it's just gonna...
You're just gonna smear it.
I'm just gonna smear it all over the place, and it's just gonna be, like, 10 times worse.